I don't know if Greg Cody has an answer to this question, but there is something that he does, that he's done the entire time that I have known him, that expresses just a general disregard and disrespect for anything someone else is saying. And it's when he literally gives you the back of his hand. Like he says whatever, and the back of his hand gets flicked at you. He's done it all the time I've known him, when he's just done with whatever you're saying. And I saw Tony do it here recently because there was some sound from Spo playing in the other room, and Tony gave the back of the hand to the sound. It was just video. Spo's not here. And he's like, I know a mediocre team. I can smell a mediocre team. I don't care about your words. I know what a mediocre team smells like. So I'm going to play that sound here in a second for the audience of Spo saying what the dangers are if the Miami Heat get to the playoffs, because he's threatening that they're going to make some noise. That's what he's doing. Even though I think, is it the last time we saw them in the playoffs? They got to Cleveland and they lost in 4 games, and the last of them was the worst playoff loss by points anyone's ever seen.
Right. Different team.
And it is a different team. Yes, they've got if it plays, if its players play. But this is the part that I wanted to get into with Cody. I am now old enough somehow, as are you, that the basketball all-star game and the Pro Bowl no longer matter. Like, they're just not, they're parties, but they are irrelevant. The Pro Bowl was played last week, and we didn't mention it. It didn't get a mention around here. And now the NBA All-Star game, they go into this weekend with the games from last night, which were an abomination. As everyone in media content is taking this period of time and doing now to basketball what they used to do to baseball as soon as football ended. How do we fix baseball? It became the conversation point the moment football disappeared. But now it's, how do we fix basketball? And I want to talk specifically about what happened last night. So you've got the streaming services are now, they're paying for this slop. They got 3 games last night. The first is your defending champions against Milwaukee. And here's how they advertise it with the guys they're putting on the marquee. It's Chet Holmgren and it's Miles Turner. No one told them Miles Turner not playing tonight. So it's Bobby Portis and them boys going after the defending champions. But OKC's trying so little, they lose by 17 at home because they're not playing anybody. So the defending champions lose by 17 at home. Then it's Portland, Utah. No reason to watch that for any reason. Utah's just fined $500,000 because they're not trying. And then the late game is LeBron and Dallas, and Cooper Flagg is not there, and Luke is not there. But LeBron is playing, and he's assisting and scoring on the first 23 points of the game because he's legitimately the only star in the sport playing last night.
I know how to help this sad basketball. Maybe if you talk about it with this music, it sounds better.
Well, he's playing live.
It's already working.
People are going to be shocked this weekend when he comes out. John Tesh, he's got to be over 70, and he blows the nipples off of everybody in the NBA because he's going to be the only one trying.
Say those names again, though. Bobby Portis. It makes me happier, though. You put this
AJ Green played 37 minutes, Dano. You also missed Donovan Clingan being the lead scorer for the Trailblazers. You also missed Dieng being the lead scorer for the Bucks. And LeBron had a triple-double last night, Dano.
Oldest man ever with a triple-double.
I understand why it is everyone is talking about, oh, my God, what's happening in this league. To me, it feels like it's happened fast. I guess it hasn't happened fast, right? It's been the NBA All-Star Game has been losing relevancy, at least in part because the guys aren't actually trying. The Pro Bowl loses relevancy because the guys aren't trying. Nick Wright is getting a take off that gets people to try when he says, just make the All-Star game black guys against white guys. Then you will get everyone to try. That's what we have to do in order to get them to try. Create a midseason tournament that gets them extra money and just ignite the race wars.
Unity by division, Dan.
Yeah.
Well, that's sort of what they're doing now. It's not black against white, but it's U.S. against the world. I mean, they're trying to...
We need more of that, I think, right? Don't have enough of that in the world right now.
Exactly.
U.S. against
Unity
the world.
by division, Dan.
Right. That's pretty much what it is, U.S. against the world.
Well, let's talk division, see if this helps. All right, go ahead. Talk about it.
Thank you for getting us that sound. John Tesh gave it to us. We have trouble with, royalty-free music around here. You may have noticed that our music got a lot worse around here, but he gave us this song, and so you should play it as much as you can today and see if we could get people excited. But how do you feel if you're Peacock last night and you're throwing out there OKC? You're throwing out there OKC against Milwaukee, and Milwaukee's winning by 17 at OKC because OKC's not playing anybody. Like, how do you feel about that headed into the All-Star break? The whole conversation around this sport has become about who's not trying instead of about who is.
Yeah, and as a microcosm, the shooting thing is now 4 people. The slam dunk contest
The
is
three-point contest?
It's the shooting thing?
No,
what is the shooting thing?
I should have been more specific there.
I know, that's why I got scared. I was
What
like,
is the shooting thing?
Okay, the slam dunk contest is what I meant.
So that's
That's
not
what
the
you meant.
shooting thing. It's the
now-
dunking
You
thing.
could have
4
given me
people.
100 guesses what you meant.
It's now 4 people, and none of them are people associated with acrobatic dunks that you'd want to watch.
I don't actually want to talk about the irrelevance of the All-Star game. The more macro conversation I want to have is, are you guys not stunned that a couple of days after football, we're now doing the how do you fix basketball conversation as a national topic when that used to be what was happening to baseball as it got less interesting and more regional, and everyone realized, oh, the reason the All-Star games don't matter is because you're making the regular season the exhibitions. Because Spo's saying things like this, okay? If it's even the Heat organization can't get its players on the floor so that Spo is saying this about the present amalgamation of Simone Fontecchios and Miles Gardners they're throwing out there as they all play exhibition basketball for 82 games. And everyone is just sitting here trying to get healthy to the games that actually matter. Here's Spo talking about, well, the Heat's record isn't what you think it is.
We've had some really tough losses where we've played really well. You know, that's the untold story about this. You are ultimately what your record is, but we feel differently about that. Our defense is shaping up. That's getting a whole lot more consistent. And then offensively, I think when we get our guys back, I think we're going to be a really dangerous offensive team. When we can be 4th in the league in scoring with, you know, large parts of our rosters on the sideline. Just wait till, you know, we get our guys back into the fold.
Just wait.
Just wait till Tyler Hero, who's played 11 games, ends up showing up here and helping us again.
I got to do a tutorial on that thing. You got to start. It's a flourish move. You start down here and then you go up
The thing where we have audio audience so that they might not see what
The
you're
shooting
doing.
thing, Dan.
You're talking about
the dismissive hand wave.
The
There it is.
dismissive back of your hand.
Yeah.
You give people the back of your hand. Is that not, Jeremy, can you look up for me, please, the origins of the back of the hand as a dismissal? Because I believe that that's something, to give someone the back of the hand, I think is something that goes back a ways, and Greg Cody has perfected it. When he wants to dismiss you, he does it with the back of the hand. Tony, you're dismissing what Spo is saying with the back of your hand?
I just feel like I get what he's saying. Like, yeah, if everything broke right, we could be a decent team in the East that's already hurt and injured and depleted across the board. But that's not what's happened. And he said you are what your record indicates, but hopefully we can get our players back, whatever. That's hope trafficking, right? It feels like somebody from the Heat organization is just off camera with some sort of weapon telling him, like, you better say something nice about this team.
Well, he knows he's also playing with the numbers, too, because 4th in the league in scoring isn't the way people are doing it. They play a pace right now that makes them 4th in the league in scoring. They're 17th in offensive rating.
But they are 10th in net rating because their defense is really good. And look, it's all limited sample sizes because these guys all haven't played together. But the starting lineup that they've gone to of Mitchell, Powell, Larson, Wiggins, and Adebayo, they've only played 75 minutes together, but their net rating is plus 32.5. And when you play Jaime Jaquez, Khalil Ware, and Tyler Hero as a 3-man group, only 54 minutes, but they're plus 17. So Spo's got to be looking at what the combination of his 8 or 9-man lineups can be and be saying, hey, if these guys are out there, we're good.
Yeah, the problem with that is they're having all these close games against teams that are also not trying, and so they're going to be healthy in the playoffs too when your guys are healthy and you're fighting for your life in the play-in round.
They also beat healthy Oklahoma City and healthy Detroit. like full rosters.
They
for
lost
what it's
to
worth.
Utah at home.
Yeah, but that's been the Heat for how many years? Like that was the same team that went to the finals, did the same.
Well, the Heat are madly inconsistent. They haven't had a 2-game winning streak since late December. I mean, they're just not on any sort of a run. And the starting point to what Spo said should have been, hey, Tyler Hero's had a lost season. We can't depend on it. Has he even played 10 games?
11.
11. It's a lost season for arguably their best scorer.
This is the part, though, that you can't do with all of this mixing and matching of nonsense. Please stop telling me how good their defensive rating is when they haven't been playing Tyler Hero, which is part of why their defensive rating is so good. Every time he comes back, their defensive rating is no longer good because he's one of the worst defensive players in the league. The larger thing, though, that we're talking about here that stretches out the customer in a way that causes indifference, you can't make it 82 games that don't matter. It can't be 82 games of irrelevant because everyone is just trying to make sure that they're as healthy as they can be when the actual games really matter. You can't keep asking paying customers to go in there and watch just the Heat's uniforms because this is what's happening all over the league. That Milwaukee team that I'm watching last night win against the defending champions by 17. I'm watching something that feels like a minor league game. It feels like something that's stuck in the purgatory between G League and when people in the NBA are really trying.
The single reason that I'm a football guy is not that I find the sport more entertaining or more fun to watch than basketball or hockey. It's that the stakes you talk about. 82 games is too many, even when you're not tanking. 82 games is too many. And the NBA, I feel like the NBA waved a white flag and said, we're desperate a few years ago when they started the in-season tournament. Gimmicks like that are just screaming that we know our fans are getting bored because the season's too damn long.
Well, Greg, we have another gimmick on the way, which is now the play-in tournament for the seeding of the lottery, right? So if you're a bad tanking team, they're talking about having another tournament now at the end of the season to win that tournament to then get better seeding in the lottery.
Those loser tournaments are always fun.
One of the things that is now being suggested as a solution as everyone tries to fix what is an obvious problem is just eliminate the draft. I don't believe that will happen because it allows them to fix their costs. I don't think that the league actually wants all their owners bidding on Cooper Flag because then all of a sudden they will have one reckless owner who gives way too much money and then they will have finances they can no longer control. The draft allows them to fix their costs with their young people and get value, and OKC gets to just trap its people in OKC. You can't leave. We've got you under contract. It's a great move for OKC to be able to stay in the game. I should mention that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is actually hurt, which I believe is the larger problem, right? Everyone's talking about tanking, but it's clear that the way that this sport is now being played and the ground that these human beings are being asked to cover with their limbs and their tissue and all of these body parts that are being asked to cover more ground, it's clear that the sport, it's breaking its players. Like it's physically breaking its players in a way that not even football seems to be physically breaking its players.
And I get it. You're bigger, faster, stronger in this decade, in this generation than ever. But like those guys played 82 games also, and you would see these huge knee pads and elbow pads and all these big things, and they would gut through it. But just where's the disconnect from then to now?
You know where we started with baseball? It was when guys started throwing 100 miles an hour on every pitch and getting Tommy John. And so all of a sudden there were innings limits on starting pitchers. And we said, oh, but Greg Maddux and Pedro Martinez, all these guys used to throw 300 innings. Why didn't it matter? Because they trained differently, because they weren't specialized from a young age with the wear and tear on the specifics of those muscles. They were playing different sports. Basketball, Jason Tatum was like made in a lab. Dude has been doing the same workouts on his body since he was 12 years old. And so what started happening? The same wear and tear on the muscles of these athletes who were bigger, stronger, faster than ever. The skill may be higher, but the wear and tear is worse.
And now we're mandating that players play 65 games in the NBA just to be award eligible. Some of these guys have to play hurt and limp just to get to 65 games because forget playing 75 games anymore. If you're an average player in this grind, this continuous grind, it's tough to reach 65.
There's something that's happening here, though, that's corrosive. Okay, at this point, the phrase "load management." Think about what that phrase is meant to mean and how pejorative it actually is. Right? Load management is meant to tell everybody we're trying to keep these physical specimens so that they are maximized when the playoffs start, which is when we're all playing for real, our very best. Now load management is a bit of a slur, right? All you have happening is all these teams are simply telling you, yes, the 82 games don't matter anymore the way that the playoff games matter. We have to make sure that everyone is in the best physical shape by the time the first playoff games are being played, because everything before that is made for television exhibition. I don't believe that the basketball player doesn't care. These people are fighting over money. People who are fighting over money tend to care about making sure they get that money. Their organizations are not rewarding them for not caring. So you have a perception problem. They don't care when that's not what's happening. They're physically breaking.